YouTube. It's your boy, Big Mikey Rose, back again once again with another video classic. And today, people, I just want to kind of talk about, my playoff predictions as far as seeding goes, right? So we'll call it like the 2017 NBA bracketology. Okay, so we all know I'm gonna do the Western Conference first because all those seeds are locked down. And for the Eastern Conference, it can still be some movement, but I'm gonna make a prediction on who I think gonna get those seed 7 and 8. And yeah, because we pretty much know what it is. It's one game left for these teams. So in the Western Conference, of course, I do believe the Warriors is gonna win the championship, but let's go more into detail on, who they might face in the Western Conference Finals, and then the individual matchups in the first round. So we know 1-8. So pretty much, I'm gonna just give y'all my prediction on what I think is the series will be won in. Not who's gonna win the series, but it's gonna be more so like winning 5, winning 6, winning 7. Kind of to give it a little bit more spice as opposed to just saying, yeah, I think this team will win. But Warriors, Trailblazers. Now, I was watching Inside the NBA yesterday, and Chuck feels as though if Yusuf Nurkic comes back, that they'll have a great shot at taking the Warriors to like 6 games. He said not win, but take them to 6 games. And although I don't agree with Chuck, I agree with Chuck because Portland, we know, is a feisty team. Damian Lillard, hometown kid. He's from Oakland. So I think he's going to play with a chip on the shoulder, being snubbed, underrated all year. And like I tell people all the time, this part of the season right now is the fireworks. This is the time where you're going to get a lot of big point outtakes and milestones because it's the end of the season, and a lot of players don't really have much to play for after the 82nd game. So, like with Portland Trailblazers, I say they win 1 game because I have no faith in them winning more than 1 game because of this reason. One, last year they didn't have Steph Curry when they played him. And although Portland did make it to the second round of the playoffs, and that was not expected of them, the fact that they're getting into the playoffs, that's a huge step. So, hopefully they can get another player over there. But I say they win 1 game at home. I say game 4. I say they about to get sweep and they win that game and, go to state of winning Oracle to advance to the series. But, the notion that Nurkic or Sinners is going to beat up on the Warriors, it's not true because, the only team to really dethrone the Warriors is really Cavs. And they don't have a center. They have LeBron and Kyrie. So, the center notion, I get it. But like Kenny said, there's no Shaq in this era. There's no Wilt Chamberlain. There is no dominant big that's going to kill you down low because all of them are shooting threes to their detriment. Like Boogie, I think, is the best example of, the center today. But he shoots threes too, and he plays on the perimeter. But other than him, Marc Gasol, but they want to shoot threes now. I don't get it. Going into the 2-7 matchup, Memphis versus San Antonio. Another one of those boring series. Now, granted, this is going to be a key series for San Antonio to play in because with San Antonio, they need to beat up on teams and feel like, they're actually having a great season. Sorry about that, guys. My phone died. Sorry about that. Well, like I was saying, when you think about the San Antonio, they need to get some type of rhythm. They need to feel as though, they can actually win a playoff series without Tim Duncan. Hi. My whole thing for the Spurs, or these new era Spurs, I think they can be champions in the future. I'm going to kind of change my perspective on them because you do have Pop. As long as Pop is committed, I think that they'll be able to compete. But I think for this young team, Kawhi Leonard, they haven't won enough playoff series without Tim Duncan or just under the leadership of Kawhi. I think last year, they got to the second round, so there's one playoff series. The year before that, they haven't been to the conference finals. That's my point. They either lose in the first or the second round. They haven't won enough series. And I think this year, if they can beat, so they'll play 2 and 3. So if they can beat Memphis, they'll go up against possibly OKC or Houston. So in that situation there, you would think like, okay, let's see what you guys can do. And let's see if we can go against the Warriors in the conference finals to possibly upset the upper court. Because the Spurs, they're not out of it yet, but I don't believe in them. I need to see them win playoff series with Kawhi Leonard at the tutelage, with LaMarcus Aldridge coming in. I need to see this. Because until then, the Spurs that I know of was built on Tim Duncan, and he retired last year. So my prediction for this series, I think that's a 7-game series. Like, when you really look at the Spurs, although they're great in the regular season, what's great about the regular season is you playing teams based on, just a scouting report. Like, yeah, we heard Kawhi Leonard is knocking out mid-range jump shots, but we don't know yet. Let's see him play first. And pretty much that's where I'm at with Memphis. I think Memphis with Mike Conley, Zach Randolph, the young core, Vince Carter, Marc Gasol having a career year. All these players that they have experience playing these top tier, teams in the playoffs even. The Spurs, Warriors, they played all these teams already. So, they're going to have more experience to me as opposed to the San Antonio Spurs led by Kawhi Leonard. Although you still got championship pedigree with Tony Parker, Danny Green. They still have championship pedigree, but Tony Parker and Ginobili is old now. Those were the leaders when they were winning those later championships. Tony Parker was the leader. Manu Ginobili was the leader. Danny Green was hitting threes, and none of those three players are really there. And Paul Gasol, he's not really. I don't know. I think that they should more so try to have got more of a bruiser. Like a more physical big. Like, I think if they had Marc Gasol instead of Paul Gasol, I think they'll be a threat. Not with Paul though. I just got to see it. I just got to see it because Paul Gasol, he went to Chicago and they didn't do anything. And since Kobe Lakers, what has Paul Gasol done? Let's be real. He was an all-star with Chicago, but what did they do? So like I say, the number 2-7 series, I believe that's going to be 1-7. And I'm going to sway that to the Spurs because the Spurs are the Spurs. Popovich, I think that they're not going to be a first-round exit, more like a second-round exit. So yeah, with the topics going on, I'm not going to do the Eastern Conference. I'm going to say that for another video. I'm going to just do the West. So for 3-6, 3-6, Houston, OKC, battle of the MVPs. Like I said in the latter video, if Russell Westbrook win the MVP award, the Warriors is winning the championship regardless of who they play. But in the sake of speeding things up, Houston has a better team. Russell's not making his teammates better, although I do like Canner and Adams to be more aggressive in the playoffs. I do like Oladipo to make noise in this first-round series because the way that OKC plays and the way that Houston plays, both like free-flowing, run and gun up and down teams. So, players who aren't good just standstill shooters like Oladipo and Andre Robertson, they'll be able to attack and get to the basket thanks to the threes. So I like that to be a 6-game series. We all know 6-game series are somewhat competitive. It's usually like I win 2, you win 2, and then, I'll win at home and win on the road, finish you off. So I think that's what it's going to be. And I think Houston's going to get the nod. Although I don't sleep on Russell, I think if the series goes to 7, Oklahoma City's going to win. And then the MVP will be validated. Well, not validated. The hell is validated? Verified. It'll be for sure. Like, okay, yeah, Russell definitely was the MVP, but I'm picking Houston in 6. If it's in 7 for OKC, or they go 5, they win in 5, or they sweep them, that's what it is. But I think it's going to go 6 because Russell can win games. Russell shows you 4 times this season that he can win the game at the buzzer. So I'm going to cut those chances down in half. I mean, 4 out of 82 games, it's not really like clutch, but you know what I'm saying? To be in that position 4 times to make the shot, 4 times to win the game, 4 times. You got to give him love for that. So